Respected Achin, the Eugenesakian members and elders, thank you for inviting me for the function. I have to say that I'm really proud of our Eugenesakian, because over the last couple of years, I've seen how the Eugenesakian is actually growing beyond its measures. The dynamism, the energy, the love, the care to go and fundraise for all the families in India and the houses and the donations that we are raising. So it's really a great achievement that we have seen, and I'm really proud of what we are doing here at the church. So if you're looking here, what is exactly happening? You would see that over this next few minutes, you have an urge to go and see that phone, touch that phone, because that's the urge that you have. Because I told you, don't look at your phone. That we're seeing is that urge is a withdrawal symptom. And today, you are not distracted. You know, when you say I'm distracted, no, you're not distracted. You're made to distract. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Now imagine a dark room without windows, full of screens in Seattle, in San Francisco, in London, in Singapore. The room is filled with bright PhDs, engineers, and scientists. And they have only one job. The only job that they have is to see how they can increase your addiction to the screen by 1 more second, not by 30 minutes, not by 1 hour. 1 more second is what they're looking at. So in this place, these people are getting salaries of $500,000, $800,000, $1.2 million, and they call themselves behavioral scientists, engineering architects, retention specialists, and they sit there doing tests, A/B testing, to see how much time are you actually scrolling. What are you tapping? What are you not tapping? Because they want to see what's your dopamine that you're getting by. Because what they want to do is, they want you to tap something, like it, make a comment, and then automatically the algorithm goes and takes something else from some other place and gives it right to you, so that you continue this tapping and this goes on. Have you realized that at that particular point of time, are they creating content? Are they creating apps? No. They are testing you. You are the product. You are the product, because these are people sitting and making you scroll. You are the product. And your attention is being stolen without your permission. And who's monetizing on this? Your attention is being sold to the highest bidder. The advertising agencies, your attention is sold to the highest bidder. And this is what exactly is happening. So, this TikTok, Meta, all these companies are worth trillions of dollars. And what we are seeing over here is people who are using this, scrolling, they end up with 3 things: anxiety, loneliness, and frustration and depression. So now, what's happening over here? Let's look at our brains. In our brain, we have something called the default area. The default area is when we are bored, when we are not doing anything. Our brain goes into a silent mode and it starts thinking on its own. It starts looking at making connections. It starts seeing and analyzing what has happened during the day. It starts looking at things that has to be done. And that default mode is when your creativity comes, your curiosity comes, and you're able to identify yourself and move forward. But because of what's happening, when you're bored, the first thing that you do is you're not trained. is to go to your phone and take and look at it and just start scrolling, looking at news. I have friends of mine who say, listen, George, I just go to the news. Even I was also going to the news early on. I wake up in the morning, I want to go to CNN, I want to go to NDTV, I want to see what's going on. Before going to bed, I want to see what's going on. During the day, I get some time, I want to see what's going on. I mean, we are all victims. We are not running away from reality. We are all the victims here. So the question is, the biggest victims are not we big adults, it's the children. The children's age grow between the age of 3 to 18, 20 years. The neuroplasticity grows is the highest. And if we train the children to give that attention and shorten it, what happens is we are giving them something for their requirement, their dopamine effect, but we are not training them how to focus and how to build. And that is going to have a huge effect when the children become adults. Next slide. The numbers don't lie. What we are seeing is an adult in the US, this is US data that we have. An adult in the US touches his phone 96 times during the day. 96 times. That is once in 10 minutes. The adults in the US. The teenagers touch their phone 270 times a day. A teenager touches the phone 270 times. That is once in 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, it goes. And what basically happens? A teenager spends almost 7 hours in his phone during the course of the time from they wake up to they go to bed. Net result of this of going to this, is that 56 hours a week is spent, more than the time anybody goes to work. You work only 40 hours. 56 hours is spent over here, that's almost 26,000 hours in 10 years. In 26,000 hours, you can become the world's best expert in anything you want to do. Now look at this. 1 in 7 American children are suffering from ADHD. 1 in 7 American children. And these children have to go and face what? They have to take medication, they have to get a coach, they have to be specially trained in schools because of ADHD. 1 in 3 American children, 1 in 3 have attention issues. They're not able to focus in class. They come back home and they have homework issues. They are angry with their parents. They're not able to listen to what the parents are saying. Attention issues. And the reason is we are fragmenting their attention. We are just taking it and squandering it away. And the depression rises. The teenagers' depression has gone up by 70%, up to 70%. Next slide. So now you might come and ask, no, I watch a movie, I spend 3 hours, I can focus, right? Because I watch a movie, I can focus. Watching a movie or something that is entertaining is known as passive consumption. You're not putting active consumption. Active focus means you're looking at a task that is difficult and without any resistance, without any deflection of your attention, you're able to focus on that particular task for 2, 5, 7 minutes, 10 minutes and get the task completed. No, nothing else. That is active focus. Now, when I was giving a talk in another place, some teenagers said, I learned everything through YouTube. I've got skills through YouTube, so don't tell me that social media is bad. Social media is good. But there's a profound difference. The difference is, when you use social media to learn, you are using social media. The difference is, when social media uses you as a product, then you are being lost. So if you're sitting there and just scrolling, that's not use of social media. That is social media using you and rewiring your brain. And that's the big difference that we are seeing here. Next slide. So, the real currency today. So what's the real currency? In today's world, not in 1980s, not in 1990s, not in 2000, in today's world, The real currency is attention. If you don't have attention, you cannot succeed in your class. You cannot pass your math exam. You cannot do your language studies. If you don't have attention, you cannot, do any work. Your work gets affected. Attention, there's correlation between attention and stress to heart attack, stress to all other diseases. Attention is the currency today. Whoever controls your attention controls you. Bottom line. If the social media is controlling your attention, they control you. And that is what we are saying here. Next slide. So what are you losing because of this? You're losing deep thinking, curiosity, your skill development, and your identity. Your identity is because if you are able to focus, there's growth. If you're just scrolling and losing time, whether it's 20 minutes, whether it's 1 hour, 2 hours, you're losing your time. Next slide. And what we are saying is, your attention is being stolen without your permission. You are never given permission. You may not even know that every time you're looking at it, somebody's making money out of it. Every time you share something, somebody's making money out of it. That's exactly what it is. And we have seen children in schools coming inside and saying, you know what, I can't focus, I can't pay attention to what the class is. It is not the problem of the children. You've got scientists sitting there trying to see how they can fragment your attention. What do you expect? Can the children stand ahead of this? It's impossible unless we take action right now. And this is going to be one of the biggest pandemic we are going to see in our world today. Australia is taking action, countries are taking action to put restrictions in phone for teenagers and all that, but that's not going to solve. We have to go to the root problem. What's the root problem? Next slide. So, enough of all this negative talk, right? And we're losing everything and what we're going to do and how we're going to think. So now I'm going to talk about what we can do to get this through and how do we get this through, right? So imagine a time when you had no phones and you had no distraction. What would you do? If you were bored, you would go sit, you would think, and you would start saying, okay, let me read some books or do some, something that you love, pick up a skill, and that's how you grow. Next slide. So, to get your attention back, there are 3 principles, 3 focus areas. One is deep work. Deep work is when you're able to take a task and focus on the task for 30 minutes and don't let your mind wander out. And no distraction. Just deep work for 30 minutes. That's it. If you can do 30 minutes of work in that time, you're able to pick up your attention back. And what we have seen is people who have tried it, tested it, they have been having significant progress out there. The greatest time today to build anything is today. If you look at 20th century, an emperor of the 20th century did not have all the resources that we have today. We can build an app from home. We can do anything we want from home. We can learn quantum physics by watching YouTube. We can sell anything in the world by just making an app and selling. We have all the resources that 20th century emperors, kings never had. And this is a time we can focus. Next. So 3 ways to rebuild focus. One is deep work. Second is deliberate boredom. Now what we say by deliberate boredom is that to sit quiet, without phones, without music, without podcasts, without that, and just listen to our inner self. And when we start listening, we start getting ideas. We start getting things that what we need to do, how we have to learn, what connections we have to do, what problems we have to solve. Go for a walk. Just yourself. Because you need to find your identity back. That is so critical. And third is, you have to pick up a skill to practice. Something that you go out of your way and use your attention and your whole body to learn. So these are three elements over here. Now, how do we take this forward? Next slide. So when we are trying to see how do we take this forward, is to look at an attention audit. In the last 30 days, what was the most difficult challenge that you faced? And if you know, what are the hardest thing that you have faced? If you know that. Second is, as a child, what is it that you really like to do? And you never had a chance to do it. And third is, this is just a map just to give you some guidance on. Third is to see if we are doing something, if you have 4 or 5 hours or 3 hours a day, what else we can do. So that's the attention audit, just to understand, if I have to do something, what can I do? Next slide. So what focus unlocks is you have, because of your deep work, because of what you're doing, or deliberate, boredom, and because of your skills training, it opens up 5 focus areas. One is the mind. Second is your skill set. Third is your body and discipline. And fourth is identity and craft. And fifth is the future compounding. So the mind, if you have 10 minutes a day, and you, for example, say, I will just learn one word, one new word for one day. In 365 days, you would have learned 365 new words. And you would be very articulate and profound in your communication. Just one word a day, it's not difficult. The time we take to spend and scroll is the time we can do. We can go to Duolingo, we can go to master class, we can go to Coursera, something for the mind. On the skill set, it is so, everybody wants to earn well, everybody wants to grow their careers. You can pick up a new skill. If you're in sales, learn something in sales. If you're in finance, learn something new in finance. What is the latest thing? How you're, because the more you are investing your time, 10 minutes a day, into any of these habits, you actually grow up. For example, if I say, if you invest $200 in a mutual return fund from the time you're 18, $200 per month, by the time you're 60, you're already a millionaire. You may know this, you may not know this. If you know finance, you know this. If you invest $300 per month, or $400, you're a multi-millionaire. Those are on the skill sets. On the body and discipline, how many of us go for work every day in the morning? We feed the kids, go for work, we come back, we look after it, we are tired, we eat, and then spend some time on social things, and then go to bed. 30 minutes of exercise. 30 minutes of exercise is going to give you so much of a difference. In my own personal case, in December, I had surgeries. I used to run and I used to play tennis. These are my favorite sports. I used to run like 6 miles and 10 miles a day. I used to play tennis. I had a knee surgery and I could not run. Then I had a shoulder surgery. Then my tennis went for a 6. So I said to myself, listen, and then I started gaining weight. So from my standard weight is about 80 kgs, I went to 92 kgs. So in December, end of December, I was like, I could not fit into my old clothes. Everything was, bulky, and I was looking out of shape. And then I said to myself, listen, I have to get out of this. So somebody said, George, you try strength training. I have never done strength training in my whole life. I was a runner. I used to play tennis. They said, George, try strength training. So I said, you know what? I'll try. 30 minutes of strength training from the 13th of January onwards till today. 30 minutes, I've lost about 11 kgs. How did I do it? It's just the consistency, it's just the focus, it's just that. This is where we are saying that, invest in body and discipline. And identity and craft is pick up some hobby, something that you were passionate about as a child. And immerse yourself, because when you have a hobby, you're able to put your mind into it and you get into a flow state. If you get into a flow state, you are actually immersing yourself. And I love cooking. I mean, people will say, this guy cooks. Yeah, I do cook. So, at home, when guest comes, I cook most of the time. And I cook. I love cooking, right? But when I cook, I get into it so deeply that I'm by myself. And, I'm out of everything else. I'm by myself. Now I'm just picking up a new hobby. That's to learn how to play guitar. When I was a small child, I used to always look at people playing guitar and I used to get the thrill. I never played guitar. So I said, you know what, I'm going to pick up a guitar and play for like 30 minutes a week. In 52 weeks, I would know how to play a song. Maybe in 2 years, I would know how to play a song in front of all of you. And probably in 5 years, I can play on a stage. That's because you're able to take up something and learn. And the future compounding. Future compounding is so important because 1% improvement per day, 1% improvement per day leads to 37 times end of the year. Not 365% improvement, 1% improvement because it compounds. And if you don't, you just stay neutral. So all I'm asking is for those who are scrolling, those who want to get the attention and focus back, is 1% improvement is going to take you at 37 times improvement here. Next slide. This is like the skills that change, like coding that you can do, and writing and video. These are all highly required jobs that we have. And if you are able to pick up these additional skills, you get additional revenues. Next. So this is the compound effect I said, that if you are able to do 1% every day, you are actually reaching. And this is what I'm training Kathy and Kennedy. And I'm telling them, listen, I'm not expecting you to do 10%. I'm just expecting you to do 1%. And if you can do that 1%, you will see the huge amount of change that is there. And that is how we need to train our children to focus on the 1%. Next slide. So we have a choice, our own identity. Whether we sit back and do exactly what we are doing right now, or we make a transition and see how we can actually go ahead and do that with an active build course. If you are able to go back to our children, I'm more worried about our children. Go back to our children and get them to focus and then train them up. We are securing their future and we are making them a builder. If not, we just let them go. I had another family friend of mine. He was very busy. And his wife was also busy. And whenever the children cry, they just take the phone and an iPad and give it to the small child, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. So that the child will not disturb them. And what has happened is, these children are just getting into that dopamine effect, right? So they don't chime, they play the games, and this is what happens. This is the future. Next slide, please. The future belongs to those who are doing not the right things, but who are able to focus with their attention long enough to become extraordinary. Look at any of our celebrities that we have. Whether it's a movie actress, whether it is any of the billionaires that we see, they and we have the same 24 hours a day. The biggest difference is they are able to take their attention and their focus and invest it so clearly on one particular task and get that task accomplished. Whereas our attention is fragmented over multiple things and it's lost. Next slide. So, to start now, just take one task this week, just one task this week. Anything that is curious, anything that you want to accomplish, anything that you want to do, without your phone for 30 minutes. That's it. That's how you just start. If you can do that for 1 week, then you can continue to the next. Next slide. So we are not here born to scroll. We are here born to build. The choice is ours and how we are able to take it forward. And with that, I would like to conclude. Next slide. And the results will be really extraordinary if you're able to take that in one simple step, one day at a time. And 1 year later, 10 years later, you will have phenomenal results in what you do. Thank you.